Okay, hello everybody. Happy Veterans Day. Today is my birthday. I am the big 40 today. Praying for the best decade yet. Because the best that life has to offer, it has yet to become. So there's that. Everybody else that is a birthday twin today, happy birthday to you too. I want to get into a couple things really quick. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who gave me supers. I want to say that first and foremost. I want to say thank you to everybody who said happy birthday. I tried my best to get to each and every single person. I gotta thank Crystal. Thank you. I love you so much. I hope that you're healing very well, and I hope that you get your mobility back and that you are stronger and better than ever before. I know going through surgery is tough. Thank you for the super, London. And I also want to thank Donna, the crazy cat lady, love you too, and Claire Power for the super and for the happy birthdays. It made my night. Me and the kids went to a steakhouse, so I'm so full right now. I couldn't even finish my steak. Had to bring the rest of it home. But I was so glad just to be able to have that. I was going to get dessert too, but I decided not to. And I'm not a big drinker, so I only drink on my birthday maybe once every few years if I'm in the mood. But yeah, I couldn't even finish my steak, so I just skipped on the dessert. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we'll do that. Where I left off at reviewing casebook number 2, before the person who paid for all of this wants to make it public, if they decide to make it public, because this is not mine. All of the other stuff that I've gotten myself or other people, their Google Drive, I've always linked that and credited the person. As far as the emails, even Trixie Lane, the Good Wives Network with Fancy, because she's been, rightfully credited for the medical stuff. Now, I myself have been talking about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case since October of 2023, specifically October 12th of 2023, when I did my first video, because on October 12th of 2023, Lifetime did a trailer on YouTube for the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. There was something in that trailer and in another trailer that they dropped on YouTube that I noticed, because my memory from Nick Godejohn's trial, I was like, wait a minute. She was trying to say that she was sexually assaulted by him. But then she had to honestly say, because she had put it in writing before, I'm assuming by a deposition, subpoena, whatnot with his attorney, that she agreed that, yeah, she had lied about that. And all of that was to be excluded, because you can't hold something against somebody just because they thought it. Because if that was the case, then it opens the way for discovery and to bring in every single thing that Gypsy Rose ever thought in her head. And we know that's probably one of the deepest, darkest places. If you can imagine the things that she has said and done in front of millions of people online, what she said and done in relationships, private relationships, on the phone, on email, just imagine what it's like inside of her head that she doesn't say, that she doesn't speak about. So I remember seeing that in his trial. And then I remember her trying to say in the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard again. And of course, this changed from Gypsy's Revenge, and all of the other, like, Killer Couples had an episode about her. Then there was the Act in 2019. I've gone through chronological order. I call it the Gypsy Rose Blanchard agenda, but I've done videos going through it in order, just about every single thing that she's done from the moment she had been arrested. And so being here for that long, it really started with the SA lie. And this is coming just a couple years off the cusp of what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp and the physical abuse that that woman perpetrated on her own husband. In the years and years long battle, all the stuff that happened in Australia with her literally cutting off his finger, which is grave bodily injury, taking off somebody's limb, crazy, her with the dogs in Australia, the entire case in the UK, the case here. So I thought, that's pretty egregious that this person is saying that about this autistic man. because you can tell Nicholas Godejohn had autism. I mean, that was never kept secret by his behaviors and everything that he struggled. And of course, his mother made it known in her interrogation. So they didn't address that as much in her documentaries and her TV shows and whatnot. But I just remember her on the stand saying that he didn't SA her, even though she was trying to manipulate and slither her way around, saying it started off as it's either consensual or not. Nicholas Godejohn has even come out and said that he couldn't even finish with her before because of the fact that she was wearing a diaper, and that he wasn't able to do anything. Because remember, they had met earlier, and the whole movie theater incident. So there's that. But that's what brought me to being interested in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, is if you are willing to lie about somebody else SAing you, then you're certainly going to lie about murdering your mom. You're certainly going to lie to try to get out early, or at least not get the death penalty. So that's a huge motive and a huge incentive to lie. But it was that made me get interested. Now, at that time, a lot of people were not aware that she had just been granted parole at the end of December. But I knew. If they're doing a 6-hour-long docuseries called The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and they are already dropping trailers, and I looked it up on Google, TMZ, all of them already knew that she's being granted parole and that she was going to be released sometime in December. Prison Confessions aired a week later on January 5th of 2024. I did my first video in October saying, wait a minute. There's something not right here. They're trying to make this girl famous. And they've been working on this documentary for years. At least a year and a half, because they follow her through 2022 and then all of 2023 to make the Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. That's before season 1 of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup in season 2. But I just knew if you're willing to lie about SA to try to lessen your culpability in your crime, you would be willing to lie about anything. And again, that's trying to slither her way around the truth, having to admit that she consensually had sex with Nicholas Godejohn. And that in the Prison Confessions, she's trying to say that he did sexually assault her, that she yelled for him to stop, and that she was crying for her mom or yelling for her mom, saying her mom's name. And I thought, that is such BS, because she didn't say that at all throughout all these years, 2015 and all these other documentaries. So really quick, happy birthday to everybody else that has a birthday today. My middle sister, her birthday is on the 16th. We are 5 days short of being exactly 10 years apart. So I'm 40 today, and in 5 days, she turns 50. But she brought some stuff over for my birthday yesterday. She's obsessed with like little stuff. I am too, in a weird way, but look at this. Look at this tiny. I'm gonna have to give this to my great niece. My twin nieces, one of them has a baby, and she gave birth to her baby on her and her twin sister's birthday. So all three of them, the twins, my twin nieces, and then my great niece, they all share the same birthday. But it's like her size, because she just turned 3. And the twins just turned 23. But I was like, oh, that's so cute. I'm going to save that for when she comes over. It's actually a real little straw. Look at that. It's like for a shot of espresso or something. That's so cute. But my sister got me all this Maleficent stuff, because I have Maleficent, Angelina Jolie, tattooed on the back of my thigh. Look at this. Like, oh, look at that. You could see you. You could see the computer screen. This little Maleficent hand sanitizer. The lip gloss. Yeah, this was at Bath & Body Works. I guess she got it all clearance because the collection is done. 2 of these candles. Body spray. Body wash. The little body spray. She got me 2 of these plug-ins, and it's a nightlight. It's actually green and purple. And she got me 4 of the little refills for it. It actually smells pretty good. The whole collection kind of smells like it kind of smells like cucumber a little bit. It's not cucumber at all, but it smells like cucumber a little bit, mixed with berries, mixed with wood. And I like wood type, like forest wood, musk type of scents. She also got me this giant. This thing was $60 originally. I don't know what she paid for it, but she said all of it was clearanced, and she had to go all the way out to somewhere really bougie in Michigan to pick them up. But yeah, it's Maleficent. It has a dragon in Maleficent's castle, and that's where the drawbridge would come down. And this actually holds the Bath and Body Works bigger candles. Look at this thing is heavy, like heavy. She also gave me 2 other $30 candles from Bath and Body Works that were really nice. Okay, so there's something I want to share really quick. Everybody knows that I'm religious. I've been on a deeper religious journey the last 10 years of my life than I've ever been. But my grandparents, my great-grandparents are all very devout French Catholics. They came from France to Quebec, Quebec to Upper Michigan, some of them to Lower Michigan, Detroit during the car boom. And so my parents didn't enforce religion on us because it wasn't enforced on them. And so I've always appreciated that, and I've never forced religion on my own kids either. I've always let them be free to choose as they get older. But that's fine. I have lots of friends who are atheists. I have lots of friends that have other religions, and I don't push my religion on anybody, but sometimes I do like to talk about it, and I do like to share things. I pray for different people all the time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Into the Weeds. They're the people that had released the Gypsy Rose, the prison emails. And she has a cousin that's locked up. I mean, I've prayed for her multiple times too. It pops into my head every so often. But it's just good. It's just good to practice selflessness. Truly, really. But I want to share this. I know a lot of people find this very controversial, the Gnostic Gospels, because this is the Gospel of Mary. These are things that were taken out of the Bible, put back in, taken out, put back in. But these are all things that are like the Gospel of Judas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Philip, Truth, and then the 4 bonus Gospels. Now, I have 2 entire books of the... Yeah, I have all of them. I have every big religious collection digitally. I have the PDFs, all of it. But I also have the Ethiopian Bible, because the Ethiopian Bible, it's the original oldest Catholic Bible, because it's been unchanged in the original Ethiopian language for over 1,800 years or so. And so I have been reading the Ethiopian Bible because a lot that is in that has been taken out. So I've just been on this journey, but I want to share something really quick. And this is when Jesus is talking about the parable of the lamp. And he says, what you hear with one ear, listen to with both, then proclaim from your rooftops. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket or in a hidden place. Rather, they put it on a stand so that everyone who comes and goes can see its light. And that's very reminiscent of truth. Facts, evidence, truth. You can't hide the truth. And a lot of us are compelled to share truth. And it's a job, let me tell you. What does he say about anxiety? Don't be anxious from morning to evening or from evening to morning about what you will wear. Because aesthetically, externally, vanity, none of it matters. There's also this other passage I want to share really quick. Now, about finding Jesus. He said, often you've wanted to hear this message that I'm telling you, and you don't have anyone else from whom to hear it. There will be days when you'll look for me, but you won't be able to find me. But that doesn't mean that he's not there. Now, this one's also very important. The keys of knowledge. Jesus said, the Pharisees and the scholars have taken the keys of knowledge and hidden them. They haven't entered, and they haven't let others enter who wanted to. So be wise as serpents and innocents as doves. I think that is really, really, really telling. There's this other one that I really, really like too. And this one really pertains a lot, I think, to gossip for me. But it's about the grapevine. Jesus says a grapevine has been planted outside of the Father. Since it's malnourished, it'll be pulled up by its root and destroyed. And if you can't relate to what that means, either drama or with religion, then maybe you're not in a deeper understanding. But to me, it speaks volumes about how to pull out anything that isn't serving your religion, anything that's not serving you as far as gossip, pull it out by the root and destroy it. So there's that. But there's also something else that I want to share really quick. May the gods who dwell in heaven ascribe praises unto you, and they behold him in triumph. Believe it or not, that's from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. This one, I think, is really important too. When the enemy is close at hand and remains quiet, he is relying on the natural strength of his position. And what is the strongest position? Truth. I find this one interesting. The rising of birds in their flight is the sign of an ambush. Startled beasts indicate that a sudden attack is coming. This one is also really good. Do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. The art of war. Now, this one is funny to me because this one in particular, you guys, well, two different people have tried, and they're not regulars, they're not members, they're not friends here, but they have tried to go on a fake or a secret YouTube that's new, made, at the end of 2024 or in 2025, and have come to my YouTube channel saying, oh, I hate your intro. But why are you all over? I can go and click as a creator on YouTube. I can go and click on your YouTube and it'll tell me that you've commented on 72 of my videos within the last week. I've had two people say, I don't like your intro. My intro was my intro, not just because I was being funny and being clever, being sarcastic, because you know what they say, better a smartass than a dumbass, but it was for a reason. Now, I cut out the really long one, but for the last 2 years I've done that. And if you don't know, then you don't know. But if you don't know what I went through in all of 2023, 2024, parts of 2025, then you wouldn't understand why I had a very thorough minute-long disclaimer. And that's because people, especially Gypsy Rose Blanchard, her friends, they have falsely tried to copyright strike me before in 2023 or 2024. Now, under fair use, under copyright law, you can't just say, I want my content down, because people are allowed under fair use and copyright law to do for education, for research purposes, for entertainment, commentary, reaction. And if that's what you're legally and fairly doing, you don't have a legal copyright strike. Now, of course, those issues usually get resolved, especially if you appeal. And of course, always appeal, especially if you're not in the wrong. But I had a disclaimer, and I specifically talk about the First Amendment and the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Now, it says here in the amendments, Amendment 1, this was proposed in 1789, and it was ratified in 1791, 2 years later. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof of any religion, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, in my disclaimer, I have always stated it as such. I know people don't like it, but this is why. Because you can't argue with somebody's thoughts, feelings, emotions, expressions, critiques, criticisms, opinions. That's protected under free speech. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But I'm allowed to express that. You're allowed to express that. Everybody is allowed to express that. What it doesn't cover is lies that amount to defamation, especially if you know you're lying and nobody else knows that you're lying. And it doesn't matter if 8 billion people on planet Earth think you're telling the truth. If you know you're lying, it's still a lie. But my whole point is that with free speech, this is a big topic for me. Because as long as you are not cyber stalking, meaning using maps, Googles, to Facebook, Ancestry, to try to find or dig up information about somebody, their children, their doctors, their disability, their oncologist, and you're doing those things, that is, you are digitally and virtually utilizing the internet in a way that you are cyber stalking and cyber harassing. Doesn't matter if you take that information and dox them or not. The fact that you are using the internet and those means to obtain it, that is. Now, of course, free speech doesn't cover that. It doesn't cover lies that amount to defamation. It doesn't cover... Sorry, I thought my cat was in the pantry. That's my son's video game. I keep hearing a cat meow. I'm like, am I going crazy or what? So it doesn't cover bullying, cyberbullying, stalking, any of those things. Lying on somebody simply because you're biased and you don't like them, or for content, or for any of those things. But of course, you have the right to religion, the right to free speech, the right of the press. That's a big problem today in America because the press doesn't do their due diligence and their homework. Freedom of the press is also freedom of misinformation. And that's where, kind of the same thing along the lines of free speech. Yeah, you're free to say things, but of course you also are not free to use words to threaten somebody, to harm somebody, their life, their livelihood. And that's crossing a huge line from free speech to criminal. And if you are staying within your lane of free speech, you are protected by free speech, especially the truth. The truth is always going to be protected. But trying to harm, stalk, bully, harass, dox, defame, slander, libel, that's not covered under free speech. But the First Amendment also gives us the right to peacefully protest. Free assembly, that's what that means. It doesn't mean protest and, burn buildings, loot, stomp elderly homeless people's heads into the ground and murder them. It doesn't mean that. It means peacefully protest. You have the right to petition the government and air your grievances. And that's the First Amendment. Anybody who tries to take away free speech, not only are you not going to win, in the end, you ultimately are not going to win. But when it comes to just the fact that somebody would try to do something so evil as stifling free speech, you don't own people. You don't own 340 million American citizens. You don't own our voices. You don't own the truth. And the truth will always come out, no matter what. When it comes to an objective homicide case, when it comes to the objective truth, it's going to come out. It's going to be known. It's going to be spoken. It's not going to be hidden like a secret. And unfortunately, with the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, we haven't been seeing or getting the truth at all. because Gypsy's been caught in so many lies. Like, hello, look at what she just said. I'm no size 2. My stomach ain't flat. Anybody else having trouble, like, finding size 2 jeans? Like, what? Every week, she says one thing and says another. Says one thing and says another. Like, you have to be some kind of personality disorder to do that, to say one thing and it... Why? Like, why even go on the internet? If that was a normal person, they would be so embarrassed by how many times she's been caught in a lie. Like, she can't even recount that night honestly or objectively. It's to say that you're sexually assaulted when you're not. To say you're not sexually assaulted at a trial and then later try to lie about it. You know, even things from the Barney doll to her being able to eat food. She's bragging in the interrogation video about being able to eat food and getting high on sugar. Okay, so since it's my birthday, I'm going to do something selfless. I'm going to do something different, okay? I'm going to talk about 3 things that are good about Gypsy, or 3 things I don't think that she's lied about. 1, when I don't quote me on this, because there's so many, but I believe it was Gypsy's revenge, possibly, or Mommy Dead and Dearest. She recounts, or maybe it was, yeah, they might have used clips from when they interviewed her and her hair was getting a little bit longer and it was curly. That wasn't Dr. Phil. But I believe she mentioned in one of them that the night of the murder, now we know that Nick arrives around 2 a.m. because the text messages are time stamped. So we know that on June 9th, after midnight, it becomes June 10th. He arrives like right before, I believe, 2 or a little after 2 a.m. So we can gather that by 2:20, 2:30 is around the time that Dee Dee died. Gypsy recounts the night before. And she says that she and her mother ate dinner or whatever, watching movies, popcorn, and they painted each other's nails. And in her crime scene photos, you can see that Dee Dee's nails had been painted. And of course, they had no wear or tear on them. And they're like a darker pink color. They had no wear and tear because she has been deceased. So she hasn't done anything with her hands. But when Gypsy's caught days later, her nails are pink. But they're starting to chip and starting to peel. I think that that's true. I think that part really is the truth. I think all of the other stories she told about that night have all been filler, depending on the documentary, when it was done and when it was made, when she sat down. And I'm going to force myself to say 2 other things about Gypsy. Sorry, my throat. After we went out to dinner, I got so full, I literally was about to burst, like a can of biscuits. When she got out of prison, do you remember what her hair looked like? Gypsy has very beautiful, naturally, like undyed. She had the longest, most thick, most beautiful natural hair. And I really wish she wouldn't have fucked with it or touched it. She does have that going for her. And as far as Gypsy Rose Blanchard goes, I think that if she got the help, actual intensive psychotherapy, that maybe she could one day recognize the power of having a larger platform and doing good for others, not in service for herself and making money. That maybe one day, and I always hoped this from the beginning, that maybe she would use that to try and make a difference or to try to help other people. Because when you have all those eyes on you, those eyes aren't going to keep coming back because they think you're beautiful or you're smart or you're talented. This isn't a dancer or an actor. This isn't an artist, But that if she could bring awareness to other people's stories, not only would it give her content, give her an outlet, it might even be healing for her. But having all of those eyes not just be on her, utilizing that for good. And I still held out hope that maybe one day she'd realize realize that, how much potential and opportunity is there. But of course, with people that are narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic, borderline histrionic, antisocial, people that have those types of personality disorders display signs that are just selfish and greedy because they are not capable of that. So my third good thing that I could say about her, or third thing that I don't think she lied about, is that I think with the power of her platform, whether it be negative or positive, there is something good that she has done, even if she's done it against her will or inadvertently. And that is bringing a whole lot of new people into true crime, into pushing for mainstream media to be held more accountable for doing, verifying, corroborating, fact checking. And I think that is a positive thing, because there is no escape from that. More people, the more the merrier. And the more people there are to catch new things or bring attention to new things. Because even me, myself, there are so many people in the comment section every single time I have a video. And I've been doing videos about all kinds of stuff. I've been here for over 4 years now. People bring up really great points all the time. All the time. And I even ask questions in my video to people, my friends here, all the time. Because sometimes I don't know how something works, or how, like the feeding tube thing, because I'm not familiar with feeding tubes because I never had one. And of course, a lot of people are so amazing with commenting and leaving not only their stories of having a feeding tube, or their children or a loved one having one. I didn't know that because Gypsy's was, day before the homicide, was dislodged, and she had been obsessively texting Nicholas Godejohn about, is there a hospital nearby, because of the feeding tube, and she wanted the feeding tube out. Now, I'm only stating what I think, and my own opinion is that she probably was tugging on that, trying to take it out, and maybe that's why it got displaced, and her mother then took her into the emergency room. And we know, because that's the last footage of Dee Dee alive that we see anywhere on any CCTV footage. There's a chance it could have just got dislodged somehow herself, but the way that she was texting Nick makes me think that she was trying whatever way she could to make sure this crime takes place. And she wanted the feeding tube out, because if she didn't need it anymore, maybe it was time for it to come out. But everybody came to the aid and was like, yeah, feeding tubes, when they're changed, a lot of people change them out themselves, that you don't actually have to go to a hospital to do that. You should, so many people were like, yeah, I know how to do that, and taught me a lot, that it doesn't always have to be sutured. It literally starts to just close up pretty quickly. That's why they have to be changed out pretty fast. And so that's amazing. That's the power of community. Now, Gypsy Rose might not like the anti-gypsy community, but truth be told, there is positivity there, even if she's not capable of seeing it. It's kept her relevant this long. It's kept her paid this long. You know how one-hit wonders work. 15 minutes and your time's up and done, and that's it. And yet it's going on almost 2 years. So there's my 3 things that I can say that are nice about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And the one thing I really didn't think she lied about was painting her and her mother's nails, because the evidence backs that up. The evidence doesn't back up the Barney doll. It doesn't back up her mom taking her sleeping pill right, a couple hours before Nick actually comes and helps her. So there's just a lot of lies, a lot of inconsistencies, and I think that there's a lot of lies by way of omission. I think she's keeping a lot back that she hasn't said. But I also find it really odd that Christy Blanchard, the moment she talks to investigators the day after they find Gypsy, she is quoted as saying, "Do not trust Gypsy," because she is a manipulator. It says it right in casebook number 2 in her entire interview. So that was interesting. But where we left off at, there's like a few hundred, but this one's 51. This is with the trash collection. And this one starts back up on June 16th of 2015. This is all about just Walmart. Now, This talks about receiving all of the video surveillance from Walmart. This one states that after reviewing the video surveillance, they observed a yellow cab van arrive in the front of the store, Walmart, at approximately 6:06:50 hours. A male exited the van and went to the back of the vehicle, opening the rear of the cargo area. Another individual is seen exiting the cab and also goes to the rear of the vehicle. The other individual appears to remove a suitcase and walk over to the front of the store, where they appear to stand behind a machine, blocking the camera's view of them. The van is seen pulling out of the camera's view, and the male enters the store. This particular camera angle is from so far away that it is difficult to determine descriptions of the two individuals. On the other camera inside a Walmart store, a white male matching the appearance of Nicholas Godejohn is seen entering the store. The male is wearing a white t-shirt with a design across the chest. He is also wearing dark-colored athletic-style shorts with a white stripe down the sides and white tennis shoes. The male appears to have dark hair and dark facial hair. The other individual seen on the exterior camera does not enter the store. The male matching Godejohn's appearance goes through the store and comes to a checkout counter with a green-colored bottle in his hand. The male pays for the item with cash from his pocket of his shorts and exits the store. The male is seen near the same machines where the other individual was after exiting the van, out of the camera's view. The male exited the store at approximately 6:06 hours, 56 minutes. So it's 06:56 hours. And the yellow cab van was seen returning to the front of the store at approximately 07:04 hours, when it also exits the camera view. This other one is talking about reviewing surveillance with the yellow cab arriving at the front of the store at approximately 12:12 hours. And this is the day after. So this is on Walmart on June 11th also. It says that they observed the yellow cab come to the front of the store at approximately 12:12 hours. A male exited the van and went to the back of the vehicle, opening the rear door of the cargo area. Another individual is seen at the rear of the van, appearing to be a female with dark hair and dark clothes on. The female wheels a pink suitcase to the outside of the store, along with the male, where they appear to stand behind a machine, blocking the camera's view of the female. The van is seen pulling out of the camera's view, and the male enters the store. This particular camera angle is from so far away it's difficult to see the precise descriptions of the two individuals. On the other camera, inside of Walmart store, a white male matching the appearance of Nicholas Godejohn is seen entering the store. He's wearing the same thing, white t-shirt with the design across the chest. The male matching Godejohn's appearance goes through the store and comes to a checkout counter with a few items in his hands. The male pays for the items with cash removed from a wallet and exits the store. The male is seen near the same machines where the other individual was after exiting the van, out of camera's view. The male exited the store at approximately 12:25 hours, and the yellow cab van is seen returning to the front of the store at approximately 12:33 hours. The male and female walk toward the yellow cab van, where they load their luggage back into the cargo area of the van. The van leaves the location approximately 12:35 hours. Sorry, my throat is so dry after eating a whole steak and baked potato and everything. I don't know what's going on. I also had shrimp too, but I didn't finish all my steak. I brought it home to finish it later. But my throat has just been so... we got snow for the first time here 2 days ago too, so I've been having my nose has been really dry throat. Okay, so this one is, again, on June 11th, approximately 12:12 hours. A male exited the van, went to the back of the vehicle, opening the rear cargo area. This is another person appearing to be a female with dark hair and dark clothes on. The female wheels a pink suitcase outside of the store, along with the male, where they appear to stand behind a machine, blocking the camera's view. On other cameras inside the Walmart store, a white male matching the appearance of Nicholas Godejohn is seen entering the store. The male is wearing a white t-shirt, same time. Now it goes down to the next paragraph. The male matching Godejohn's appearance goes throughout the store and comes to a checkout counter with a few items in his hand. He then pays for the items with cash removed from his wallet. Now, on June 18th of 2015, they also get a printout of the items that were purchased, and they also caught, all these other cameras caught Nicholas Godejohn on multiple different occasions purchasing things. Now, at this particular time, he had purchased a Dr. Pepper and a 7-Up, a toothbrush, a BLX 5-star, and Trojan condoms. These items were later logged in as evidence at the Greene County property room. And of course, it says the same thing for the other 2 cameras. Now it says for the first one that they also tried to obtain a receipt for that because he had only purchased one small green colored bottle in his hand. And it says that they had obtained and requested a printout of the item that was purchased at the first time they attend or go to Walmart, and the 2 still photographs of a yellow cab van. It doesn't say what that little green bottle was. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What was the little green bottle that he bought? But we do know the second and the third cameras: Dr. Pepper, 7-Up, a toothbrush, BLX 5-star, and Trojan condoms. I mean, at least they were being safe, right? I don't know. So where we're going to pick up when I do get back into this fully, it'll be at 54. And this is it just states the case with the Blanchards. And of course, this is 5 pages. Pages 3, 4, and 5 are redacted. But this just goes into a summary, I believe, of the case. So there's that. That's all I wanted to go over for now. Short and sweet. Really wanted to just say thank you for all the happy birthday wishes. I love you all. I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets. I know what that's like. I have 2 great uncles who died in service. One died in World War II at Battle of the Bulge in 1945. And then I have my grandfather's other brother, Clifford, died as a first-class sergeant. He was in the Navy for 6 years. Then he went to Coast Guard. Then he went to Army. He was a first-class sergeant. And in 1952, he died in the Korean War at the battle at Baldy Ridge. So, yeah, good day to reflect and remember. And that's what I like to do. I actually met a couple of vets today at the steakhouse. And it was really nice to see so many of them being able to celebrate Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day, everybody. Thank you for the happy birthdays. Happy birthday to everybody that has a birthday today also. And I also want to say happy birthday, whether it's belated or whether it's early. And I hope you guys come back and we will finish unpacking all of casebook number 2, starting at supplemental report number 54. So with that said, I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great week, a great weekend. Thank you for the birthday wishes again and the supers. Shout out to all of you who did give me one for my birthday. I really appreciate that. And I'm always deeply appreciative, grateful, always humbled because nobody is obligated to do that. And the fact that somebody does and can, I'm honored. And I'm honored that I have such wonderful, amazing community of people and women. Truly, as a cancer survivor, as somebody who has a rare genetic connective tissue disease, I know what that's like. I'm the one person that does not get into, because people can't help. They can't help it. Genetics are genetics. It's just how it is. So, but thank you, everybody. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. And the next 10 years are going to be the best 10 years because I plan on living for a long time. And I hope you all plan on living for a very long time too. I love you all and have a great night. We'll catch you on the flip side.